Happy birthday, Madeil from Los Angeles. Sometimes from Seoul, South Korea.
Happy birthday to Madill from St. Augustine, Florida.
Happy birthday, Madill from all too well-known Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Happy birthday to Madill from Frankfurt, Germany.
Happy birthday, Madill from Caroline Moses Sprouse in Nashville.
Happy birthday, Madill, and thanks for sending me to Washington and changing my life forever.
Happy 100th birthday, Medell from Maryam al-Dhabhani, Qatar, a proud Medell alum.
Happy birthday, Madill from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Here's to another 100 years of training Medillions.
Happy birthday, Madill. It's Jose Costa from Charlotte, North Carolina.
From Chicago, happy 100th birthday, Madill.
Happy birthday, Madill from Dallas, Texas. Go Cats!
Happy birthday, Madill from Washington, D.C. P.S. You don't look a day over 99.
Good day from Sydney, Australia. Have a wonderful Centennial, Madill.
Happy 100 years, Medell. From Jordan and a proud Medell student. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday from New York City, Madill. Thanks for everything. I couldn't have done it without you.
Happy 100 years, Madill, from Burlingame, California.
Kenneth Edward Piner here saying happy birthday, Madill, from Washington, D.C.
Happy birthday, Madill, from Alameda, California.
Happy birthday to Madill from snowy Buffalo Grove, Illinois.
100 remarkable years. Happy birthday, Madill, from San Francisco.
Happy 100th birthday, Madill, from Austin, Texas. Woohoo! Here's to 100 more.
Happy birthday, Madill, from a proud alum in Lahore.
Happy birthday, Madill School of Journalism from Jane Golterman, class of 77.
And happy birthday, Madill, from Jill Conca Clyburn, class of 78.
Happy 100th birthday, Madill. This is Shahan Chingwu from Qatar.
Happy birthday to Madill from Chicago.
Happy 100th birthday, Madill, from the World's End neighborhood of Hingham, Massachusetts.
Happy birthday, Madill. 100 years of striving to bring students to the news so they can bring it to the world. Happy birthday, Marcia Davis, Washington, D.C.
Happy birthday, Madill, from Irvine, California.
Happy birthday, Madill, from San Francisco.
Happy 100th birthday, Madill, from Malak Munir in D.C., a proud Madill alum.
Happy 100th birthday, Madill, from Orange County, California.
Happy birthday, Madill, from Atlanta.
Happy 100th birthday, Madill, from Jewel and Gia from Qatar.
Hello from Atlanta, and what up, Madill? I'm Shabram Vaidizwaran. I'm a 2007 graduate from the Integrated Marketing Communications Master's Program. I have to tell you, I don't know where I'd be without Madill. The teachings from the program have been invaluable across my career, and the relationships that I've built with my classmates, my teachers, as well as the alumni have just been unbelievable. Cheers to 100 years and to many more. Can't wait to celebrate with you soon.
Hey there, this is Mike Greenberg from ESPN, and on behalf of my wife Stacy, who is also a Madill alum, and myself, we would like to say a very happy 100th birthday to the best school of journalism on planet Earth. Thank you for everything you have done for us, but more importantly, thank you for everything you have done to bring truth to the discourse across this country and beyond. A very happy 100, Madill.
Hello, Madill alums. Full disclosure, I'm not a Madill alum. I happen to be married to a Madill alum, but I have been a member of the faculty and administration for almost the last 25 years and have had an opportunity to see this fantastic evolution that took place when I joined a program, the Integrated Marketing Communications program, when it had just become that after years of being an advertising program. The leadership of the faculty saw the future being one that was data-driven, customer-centric, and they launched forward with that idea. Since then, I've seen the program grow so tremendously with an undergraduate certificate program, a full-time grad program, of course, and an online and part-time program that have now merged. All of those programs have exploded the opportunity and the attraction of students from all over the world. And I've had the great pleasure of getting to know them, to teach them, and now to stay in touch with them who are all over from Asia China, Japan, Taiwan, Singapore, Australia, France, Germany, Sweden. I know I'm going to miss some. Spain, and then all of South America. We've got Mexico and Costa Rica and Venezuela and Chile. Students are from there. They stay in touch with each other, and they stay in touch with me. I am so proud to be a part of this program. I'm so proud to be part of this school, and I so look forward to the next 100 years to explode the future of the Medill School of Journalism, Media, and Integrated Marketing Communications. Congratulations.
I'm Mike Wilbon, class of 1980, and I want to wish a very happy 100th birthday to Medill, the school with 40 Pulitzer Prize winners, with more Emmy and Academy Award winners and White House correspondents over the years than we can count. Happy 100th birthday to the school that has given the world authors of renowned works from Gone Girl to The Haunted Land to Wrapped in Rainbows, creators and producers of cultural hits from Happy Days to Game of Thrones. Happy 100th birthday to the school that has produced so many accomplished and impactful reporters, editors, columnists, bureau chiefs, correspondents, hosts, anchors, critics, and bestsellers. Happy 100th birthday to the best damn journalism school anywhere, anytime.
Wow. I can't tell you how heartwarming it is for me to see all those alums from all around the world wishing us happy birthday. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for this celebration of the 100th anniversary of the founding of Medill. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Charles Whitaker, a proud Medill alumnus, BSJ class of 1980, MSJ class of 1981, and it's my honor and privilege to be the first alum selected to serve as dean of the school. 100 years ago today, the co-publisher of the Chicago Tribune, Joseph Medill Patterson, invited a number of dignitaries to have dinner at what was then the new Tribune building on what was then called North Michigan Boulevard, not Avenue, in downtown Chicago. These VIPs in full evening dress were chauffeured by car to Evanston for the 8 p.m. dedication ceremony of Northwestern University's new journalism school, named for Patterson's grandfather, Joseph Medill, a leading abolitionist who had served as Chicago's mayor and as editor and publisher of the Tribune. There are very few institutions that can say from the moment of inception, they were immediately recognized as standard bearers in their fields of endeavor, but that is true of Medill. From the moment we were founded, this school has been hailed as one of the world's premier training grounds for talented, aspiring storytellers in the fields of journalism and advertising, and ultimately in marketing and communications. Tonight, with the help of modern technology, we're thrilled to celebrate our amazing legacy with members of the Medill community from all corners of the globe. In recognition of this milestone, I want to ask you to join me in raising a toast, symbolically, if not actually, to a century of excellence. Here's to Medill, to our first 100 years, and to another century of achievement by our phenomenal faculty, students, staff, and alumni. Now, I want to note that today is just the start of what we hope will be a year-long Centennial celebration. Due to this nettlesome little thing called a pandemic, our grand plans for in-person festivities had to be postponed a bit, but stay tuned for information and check our Centennial website for news about Centennial events coming to a venue near you when the world opens up again. And before we proceed with this evening's celebration, I'm going to take a moment of personal privilege to thank the very, very talented and dedicated members of Medill's marketing, events, and alumni team for putting together tonight's very creative event. A special shout out to Sarah Brazil, Jane Fliss, Jarrett Davis, the phenomenal Stacy Simpson, our videographer Matt Schrock, Belinda Clark, Julie Frere, and Amanda Westridge. These are a really special group of people, and I'm very grateful for all that they do for Medill and for me especially, because they keep me from making a complete fool of myself most of the time. Now let's have some fun with trivia. Before I introduce our show hosts for the evening, let's get you ready to play. We'll be using the Kahoot game system. Please go to kahoot.it and enter the game number that you see on the slide next to me. Guiding us through this test of your Medill knowledge are two entertaining Medill alums, both of whom are good friends of mine, who will serve as our game show hosts. First, we have Garen Flowers, who received his MSJ from Medill in 2011. Garen is an Emmy-nominated and AP award-winning journalist. He's an on-camera host and content creator working in the entertainment industry in Los Angeles. Garen is also a journalism instructor at the USC Annenberg School for Communication and Journalism, but we won't hold that against him. Personally, he's worked for nearly 8 years as a general assignment, he worked for nearly 8 years as a general assignment reporter for CBS, NBC, and ABC affiliates throughout Florida. And he was recently a contestant on ABC's The Bachelorette. And he still has to make it up to me for compelling me to spend 2 hours of my life that I will never get back watching that show. Next, we have someone who almost needs no introduction because he's a Medill institution. Roger Boy earned his master's degree from Medill just a little bit before Garen in 1971, and immediately began teaching classes in the Medill Cherubs program. His stint teaching cherubs led to additional teaching assignments in Medill's graduate and undergraduate programs, and as thousands of cherub alumni know, many of you on this webinar tonight, Roger has directed Medill Cherub since 1985, the year he joined the faculty full-time. For nearly 20 years, Roger was assistant dean and director of undergraduate studies at Medill. He's now an emeritus faculty member and is serving as president of Northwestern's Organization of Emeriti Faculty. It's only fitting that Roger should co-host this trivia night because he's our resident Medill historian. No one on the planet, I assure you, knows more about Medill trivia than Roger. And as it also happens, he shares a birthday with Medill. Today, February 8th, is Medill's birthday, is Roger's birthday, sorry. So happy birthday, Roger. And gentlemen, take it away. I give it to you to start the game.
Dean Whitaker, thank you so much for the great introduction. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without you. And we could talk a lot more about The Bachelorette, so I'll take more of your time on that. All right, let's go ahead.
Well, I just can say, Dean Whitaker, thank you so much for this grand celebration of my birthday. I'm very appreciative, and I can't wait to hear what's for dessert today.
Whatever it is, I want it on it. All right, let's get the game started. Quick warning. Any wrong answers today result in a Medill F. Just kidding. I hope I didn't trigger anybody. All right, so you guys know the game. If you want to play, please open www.kahoot.it in the browser on your phone or desktop. It may be a different device than you are on for your Zoom, but you can certainly play on the same device as well. You'll need to enter your email address, a nickname, and the PIN number that you see on your screen. Your email address will not be displayed publicly, so you're good. In Kahoot, you'll only see the red, blue, green, and yellow squares. To answer any question that you see on your Zoom screen, you'll select the corresponding color in Kahoot. Don't worry, we're going to do a practice question first, so you can test out the system, any kinks. Your score is based on the correct answer, as well as how quickly you answer. Winners will be tracked by the system and contacted by email for their mailing address in order to receive a fabulous prize. Roger, you ready to get it going?
I'm ready. Let's get it going.
I love that you are a Medill historian, and what better way than to have your birthday on the same day as its birthday?
I know, but I'm not alone. I know some Medill alums who also have a February 8th birthday. So we have a little group that we get together every now and then and wish each other happy birthday on February the 8th.
I love that. That's amazing. It's a great time. It's Aquarius season. I just had my birthday on the 31st of January, so this is always a good time.
Another Aquarius. That's good to know.
So what is important for people today to help them out? What's like a little small tip you can give people who want to win today?
Well, I would say just use their common sense. Some of these questions are just have to kind of use your just go with your heart. Most of the questions people will probably be able to guess the correct answer.
Okay. So just go with your heart and just go with the first answer, I guess, with your intuition. So let's do it. We'll get the game started, everybody. Now we'll start with our practice question first, remember? So we'll make sure to figure that out. Stacy will control the game and we'll start our questions, and you'll have about 30 seconds to answer. So it's really quick, but you have enough time to get it going. So whenever we are ready, we will get started. You guys ready? Practice question in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Practice question. What is the name of the NU mascot? Willie, Wilma, Watson, or Juanita? 23 more seconds left to answer that question. Let's see if you guys can get the practice question. We have about 15 more seconds. I see the answers rolling in.
Ding, 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 ding.
You think everyone will get this right, Professor Boyd?
Well, let's hope so.
Let's see. Well, we want everyone to start off strong. All right, and your answer is coming up. If you answered Willie, clicked red, you were right.
It's Willie the Wildcat, Northwestern's proud mascot. It's a great practice round. So let's start playing Madill Trivia Night.
Let's get it going, everybody. I hope you're ready after that. You guys ready? Oh, let's see. Okay, we have our scoreboard. So this is where we'll see our top players. So you'll know if you're in the leaderboard. Now we'll get it going, y'all. All right, second question. Madill was dedicated on February 8th, 1921. Its curriculum was initially part of which other Northwestern school? School of Commerce, School of Speech, Evening Division, Night School, or College of Liberal Arts? 20 seconds left. How tough do you think this question is, Robert?
Moderately tough.
Okay, moderately.
A 5 on a scale of 10.
Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. So we want folks to start off on a strong note. All right, answer coming in. School of Commerce, if you got that, you got it right.
Northwestern School of Commerce housed Madill in the early years. That school's dean, Ralph Heilman, played a critical role in the establishment of the Joseph Madill School of Journalism. Madill became an independent school within Northwestern on February the 10th, 1938, almost exactly 17 years to the day after its dedication. The School of Commerce building that you see there was located a little north of what is now the Jacobs Center.
Thank you for that great insight.
Anytime.
All right, you guys ready for question number 3? Oh, look at our leaderboard. I'm loving it.
Whoa.
I like that name. Give me the rose. That's a great one. All right, guys. Question number 3. Which public or political office did Joseph Madill, the school's namesake, once hold? Ambassador to France, Mayor of Chicago, Governor of Illinois, or U.S. Senator? 20 seconds left.
This is probably a little easier than the School of Commerce question, given the fact that Joseph Madill is so well known, particularly to the people that are with us tonight.
It's always interesting to know the history of the name behind an institution. So this is great. All right, if you said Mayor of Chicago, you were right.
Joseph Madill was mayor of Chicago from 1871 to 1873, the first mayor after the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. He was also, as we already heard, editor and publisher of the Chicago Tribune.
For our next question, it's my great honor to welcome Northwestern University President Morty Shapiro.
Well, thank you for that, Garen. I have to say I'm 0 for 2, Roger, and I'm blaming you.
Oh, no.
Although I have to say, I was not one of the 5 people who got Willie the Wildcat wrong. Happy to tell you that. And Roger, happy birthday. And,
well, thank you.
And Garen, you know, my family watches Bachelorette. If you had told me, my friend, I would have watched it as well. I assume you won. And tonight or whatever. That show. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to read I've been practicing. Charles gave me this question a week ago. I'm not very good at this kind of thing, and my hat doesn't fit, but I'm still proud, and I have over my shoulder the little banner there for the 100th. So here is my question, and I've been practicing reading it. Ready? Which U.S. president-elect sent a congratulatory telegram Northwestern University 100 years ago today on the founding of Medill? Is it Calvin Coolidge, Warren Harding, Herbert Hoover, or Franklin D. Roosevelt? I actually knew this one because I know all the 46 presidents in order, so I knew this.
You know your presidents.
I do. The answer, as you see, is none other than Warren Harding. He was elected, I looked it up, on November 2nd, 1920. And unlike now, with the inductions coming in January, he was inducted on March 4th, 1921. And most importantly, he sent a telegram on February 8th, 1921, 100 years ago.
And to add to that, earlier in his life, he was publisher of the Marion, Ohio Star. So he had ink in his veins. And in the telegram that he sent to Northwestern, this is what he said. He sent this 100 years ago today. Quote, "Nothing surpasses the possibilities for service that are vested in a great journal commanding the public confidence." Da 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 da.
Amen.
Ta-da. President Shapiro, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. It was great to see your presence.
It was an honor. Thank you both.
Absolutely.
Go Cats. Go Madill.
All right, here's our leaderboard. Jeremy is at the top, followed by Beth, Joey Madill, John Marshall, who actually was one of the professors during my time in school there, and followed by Joe. Awesome. I'm loving it. Let's keep it going, y'all. Still an early game. You have a lot of trivia left, so don't be discouraged. All right, let's get to our next question. Madill's first building on Northwestern's Evanston campus was Fairweather Hall, Fisk Hall, Mineralogy Building, or University Hall. What do you think it is? 20 seconds left.
Would you like to have classes in a building like that? The one that's pictured?
Seems pretty old school. I'm sure it wasn't that many students at this time. All right, 2 seconds left. Let's see how they do.
Ta-da.
If you had a mineralogy building, you were right.
The Mineralogy Building, better known as the Old Gymnasium, was described in a 1924 book as, quote, "the shabby little brick building built by students themselves in the late 1870s. The building was enlarged before Madill moved into the attic in the fall semester of 1921. It was located where the lobby of the McCormick Foundation Center is today, a building used almost exclusively by Madill.
Love that. All right, we have another special guest to read our next trivia question. Northwestern Provost Kathleen Haggerty, we are so honored to have you with us this evening. Provost Haggerty, as you are Northwestern's first woman provost, we would like to have you share a question about Madill's first woman faculty member. Thanks for coming.
Great, thank you for having me here.
Absolutely.
All right. Who was Madill's first woman faculty member teaching reporting, writing, and specialized news interest? Georgie Ann Geyer, Nan Robertson, Genevieve Forbes, or Sissy Patterson? Okay, time's almost up. Ooh, look at that. It was Genevieve Forbes.
And Genevieve Forbes began teaching part-time at Madill just 1 year after the school's dedication. She was one of the Chicago Tribune's ace reporters, having written stories that led to the firing of the Ellis Island commissioner and to hearings in the U.S. House where she testified. In addition to her interview with Al Capone, she covered the Loeb Leopold trial of 1924, the national political conventions of 1928 and 1932, and also Eleanor Roosevelt. In a sense, she serves as a prototype of Medill hiring the top journalists in the Chicago area to teach part-time as adjuncts.
Thank you, Provost Haggerty. It was a great having you here. Thank you so much. All right, let's see who's doing well. John Marshall's at the top. I love to see it. Followed by Joey, Jeremy, Kathy, and Helen 68. So let's keep it going. That was a good question. All right, for our next one, the Medill Spiegel Research Center focuses on the study of which topic? The role of advertising in shaping opinions about products and services, the effects of news consumption on political beliefs, the relationship between customer engagement and purchase behavior, and how digital media has changed the way people communicate. We gave you a little bit more time with this answer because it's some long answers. So hopefully you'll be able to have time to see that. And what do you think about this one, Roger? What's the difficulty of this question?
It's probably at least a 6 on a scale of 10.
Okay.
And Garen, I noticed that one of our contestants is Joey Madill. Who do you think Joey Madill might be?
It's a good question. You know, I don't want to guess. Tell me.
Do you think it could be Dean Whitaker?
Possibly. Let's see. We got 3 more seconds. All right. The answer is the relationship between customer engagement and purchase behavior.
In 2011, the Spiegel Research Initiative began with a generous gift from Ted Spiegel and his wife, Audrey, as well as support from corporations, alumni, and friends. Ted, who joined the Medill faculty in 1988, was the grandson of Joseph Spiegel, the founder of the direct marketing Spiegel catalog. While at Medill, Ted established a direct marketing concentration.
All right, let's see how everyone's doing. So we have some people starting to show how well they're doing.
That's a lot of points, 52-82.
That's a good amount of points.
Yeah.
But we still have a lot of game left.
That's
Question:
right.
What did the first students in the fall of 2021 have to do to get to their classroom? They had to walk 6 blocks from campus. They had to climb up a fire escape. They had to take off their shoes to keep the classroom floor clean. They had to display a copy of the Chicago Tribune.
The question should read the first students in the fall of 1921.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because 2021,
it's not a trick question.
Hasn't happened yet. All right. They had to climb up a fire escape.
In the book, Inventing Medill by Alice Schneider, a 1922 Medill graduate, Alita Stein, is quoted as saying, "They put an iron stairway on the outside of the old gymnasium, and they put Medill in the attic. There was always wind from the lake, and it was hard to get up those stairs in the winter with the ice and the snow and the wind, but we did it." The Medill space included a newsroom with about 15 desks, small faculty offices, a couple of classrooms, as well as racks of newspapers, a few books, and chairs. And for those of us who are in the Chicago area today, we can relate to the difficulty of having to climb up a fire escape in midwinter, like the weather we're having today.
Absolutely. You guys were telling me how it's snowing and everything. So
that's right.
The weather is not being kind.
It's very difficult around here.
I won't talk about the weather in LA right now.
No, we don't want to hear about that.
I'll leave that one alone. All right, next question, number 9. What is the current number of living Medill alumni? Approximately 18,000, 16,750, 22,500, or 25,000? I love this question. This is a fun one. And we have about 15 more seconds. This one's a little challenging, you know. It could be a close one. It could be really close, but
not that much difference between these numbers here.
Yeah, exactly. It's fairly close. Yeah. But if you answered 18,000, you got it right.
The Medill network is a powerful thing. More than 18,000 members strong, Medill grads are making a difference all over the world. We are also a family bound together by an extraordinary experience that has shaped our lives and served as a springboard for success.
All right, we have Sarah moving up on the board there. We have a few names creeping up a bit. I like it. And we're about halfway through the game. We're halfway through the game now, so we still have a lot left. The next question. Walter Dill Scott, BS 1895, was NU's president in 1920. He wrote extensively on which subject? The psychology of advertising, how the Industrial Revolution changed the printing of newspapers, the history of public relations in the US, or news deserts. 10 more seconds.
The University Archivist says that Walter Dill Scott stands tall among former Northwestern presidents.
So he was very impactful. And the psychology of advertising.
Walter Dill Scott began teaching applied psychology at Northwestern in 1900 and served as Northwestern's president from 1920 to 1939. Scott Hall on the Evanston campus is named in his honor. He approved the founding of the Joseph Medill School of Journalism, and he presided over the dedication ceremony 100 years ago on this very day.
All right, we are just over the hump. Question 11 coming up. So we need folks to start picking it up if they want to get on the leaderboard. All right, number 11. In 1954, Madill moved to Fisk Hall. Which famous architect designed the hall? Frank Lloyd Wright, Louis Sullivan, Daniel Burnham, or Ludwig Mies van der Rohe? 15 more seconds.
And by the way, that's a picture of Fisk Hall right after it opened.
Yeah, it seems like it wasn't much developed around it.
In 1899.
Mm-hmm. All right. Daniel Burnham is the right answer.
Fisk Hall opened in 1899 and cost about $70,000 to build. Burnham was the country's preeminent architect of the early 1900s, and he is often quoted as saying, make no little plans. They have no magic to stir men's blood and probably will not themselves be realized. He lived in Evanston, just a few blocks south of Fisk Hall.
It's interesting seeing the growth of Fisk Hall and how it all came to be. I really love trivia.
And we have a plaque right inside Fisk entryway talking about Daniel Burnham.
All right, next question. Which person served on the Medill advertising faculty in the 1930s? I think this one is going to be pretty tough. Henry Ford, the founder of the Ford Motor Company, George Gallup, who went on to become a pioneer in public opinion polling, Leo Burnett, founder of the Leo Burnett Advertising Agency, or Walt Disney, who at the time was a newspaper cartoonist and animator. 5 seconds left. This is a tough one. If you said George Gallup, you got it right.
George Gallup taught at Northwestern in 1931 before joining the advertising firm of Young and Rubicam in New York as head of marketing and copy research. While there, he started work in public opinion and election forecasting and what would become known as the Gallup poll. He conducted the first national survey of magazines to find out which ads attracted the most attention. And he also developed a technique to measure radio audiences. George Gallup.
That's fascinating that the person behind the Gallup poll is associated with Medill.
Yep.
Love that. All right, folks, let's see how we're doing. All right, we have Andrew F. and Craig D. on the board. Got some new names. All right. But John is still commanding the leaderboard. All right, next question. The NU mascot is Willie the Wildcat, as we know now. The Wildcat name was adopted in what year? 1890, 1905, 1920, or 1924? 20 seconds left.
This is a fairly tough question.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one. Hopefully we have some sports fans out there who
That's right.
know this one. 5 seconds left. Let's get those answers.
Mike Wilbon gets this right.
Right. Mike Wilbon needs to get this one right. And Mike Greenberg. 1924 is the right answer.
1924 was when Northwestern's athletic teams got the nickname Wildcats. Covering that year's Northwestern versus the University of Chicago football game, Chicago Daily Tribune reporter Wallace Abbey, a 1923 Medill alum, likened the Northwestern team to a, quote, purple wall of Wildcats. Gradually, over the following months, the term Wildcats was applied to other Northwestern teams and soon thereafter to the school's students and its alumni in general.
Have you gone to any sporting games in the past, football games, basketball, any of that?
Sure.
Well, I hope we can do it again soon.
Yeah.
It's tough with the pandemic.
Well, let's hope this fall we can be back in the Ryan Field.
Let's hope. That would be ideal. Hopefully. All right. Next question, number 14. We're getting close to the end. In 1921, how much did a Medill student pay to take 5 courses, each worth 2 semester hours? $50, $100, $250, or $500? Each of those answers sounds great to me. I would have appreciated any of them. All right, y'all, about 11 more seconds. 5 seconds left. This is a very interesting question. And if you answered $50, you're right.
And there you can see the price on the brochure there. Just $50 for 5 courses, each worth 2 semester hours. Students had to pick up their tuition bills at the School of Commerce office because the rules stated no tuition bills are mailed.
Definitely wish we had the same tuition. Oh, John has been overtaken by Sarah.
Ooh.
It's getting really interesting. And then we have John Z on the board and also David F. It's getting really interesting, guys. I like it. Getting a little spicy towards the end here. All right, next question. Medill's first African-American faculty member was Garfield Lillard. And what decade did he teach at Medill? 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, or 1960s? 20 seconds left. Obviously, it's Black History Month, so this is a great question, and it'll be interesting to see the impact that he made. 10 seconds left. All right, let's get those answers in. 2 seconds left.
Ding, ding, ding.
And the answer is 1960s.
Garfield Lillard Jr. taught photojournalism at Medill from 1960 to 1962. An MSJ alum, he left Medill to establish Lab 1, a highly successful custom photography business in New York City.
Very interesting. All right, let's see. Oh, John's going down. John Marshall is now in 4th place. So let's see who can take the lead here towards the end. Question 16, which was not one of the curricular areas in 1991 when Medill's IMC program was formed? Advertising, direct marketing, public relations, or sales? 20 seconds left. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1. Answer sales.
Sales was not one of the areas. Although Medill had a successful advertising program, by the late 1980s and early 1990s, the faculty perceived a shift in how consumers connected with brands. Rather than teaching advertising, public relations, and direct marketing as three distinct and different disciplines, the faculty developed an integrated approach that used data analysis to understand the entire customer experience. As Tom Collinger said in the video we saw a few minutes ago, today Medell has a master's program in IMC that is taught full-time in Evanston, as well as a program for working professionals in Chicago and an online program. And Northwestern undergraduates can earn an IMC certificate.
It's amazing. Such a great program, by the way. All right, this is getting interesting. John Z is at the top, followed by Joey Madill. Pretty interesting.
Still curious on who Joey Madill is, but maybe we'll find out later.
Right, hopefully we'll find out.
Oh.
Question 17. Don Schultz joined the Medill faculty in 1977 and served as emeritus professor until 2020. What is Don known for? And we gave you a minute for this question. Researching the local news crisis, spearheading the study and teaching of integrated marketing and communication, serving as the offensive coordinator for the Northwestern football team, or having the most books of any faculty member in his office. He might have been the OC for the football team. You never know.
And sadly, Don Schultz passed away just a few months ago.
20 seconds left.
So Aaron, did you ever take any classes in the IMC area?
I did have a couple classes in the IMC area, and I was actually in classes with a few IMC students. So it was nice to understand them and their curriculum and what they were dealing with. So it was cool. It's such a great program. All right, the answer is spearheading the study and marketing, integrated marketing.
Known as the father of integrated marketing communications, Don Schultz consulted, lectured, and held seminars on IMC around the world. A distinguished marketing communications thought leader, he authored or co-authored 28 books and more than 150 academic, professional, and trade articles.
Well, he had a great impact on Medill, and
that's for sure.
Rest in peace to him. Okay, let's see here. John Marshall is still making a run for it. And but John Z is taking a commanding lead with a couple questions left. All right, number 18. In the 1920 to 1930s, the basement of Fisk Hall provided a space for which student extracurricular activity? Darts, rifle range, billiards, or bowling? 20 seconds left. There we go. We got a nice snowy picture of Fisk Hall. You know, there was a blizzard during my time there. I was there for the one-year master's program, and there happened to be the blizzard for the first time in like 2 decades.
Well, we have about 8 or 10 inches of snow on the ground in Evanston, and the overnight low is supposed to be 0 tonight. So come on back.
All right, I will. I love visiting. All right, and your answer is rifle range.
As early as 1916, the basement of Fisk Hall was remodeled with 4 rifle ranges of 50 feet each. Users were charged $1 to pay for, quote, sub-caliber guns and ammunition, as well as membership in the National Rifle Association.
All right, we're getting to question 19. We're getting to the end here. And look, John Marshall's trying to make a run for the top again. So let's see what happens in the next 2 questions. This is really close, y'all. I'm loving it. All right, question 19, and probably my favorite. Current Medill Dean, Charles Whitaker, BSJ 80/MSJ 81, lettered in which sport during his undergraduate years at Northwestern? Basketball, badminton, volleyball, or cheerleading? 17 seconds left.
And I want you to know, I ran the answer by Professor Dean Whitaker today, and he approved the wording.
Good. I'm glad that he signed off on it. 1 second left, and we'll find out. Cheerleading.
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 For Dean Whitaker's first 2 years as an undergraduate, the cheer squad lacked much diversity. He was convinced by several of his friends to try out for the squad, along with about 30 other Black Northwestern students. 7 of those 30 were selected for the team, allowing the squad for 3 years to be an even mix of Black and white students. And I think that's Charles, Professor Whitaker, Dean Whitaker there in the photograph.
That's certainly him, and I love that question, and we'll have to talk about that after the game. Okay, there's our leaders on the scoreboard with 1 question left. Are you excited for the last question? This has been
writing on this.
A lot writing on this. Last question, everybody. Which of these quotes is widely attributed to Joseph Medill? Last question, we give you a minute for it. A newspaper's job is to afflict the comfortable and comfort the afflicted. The function of the press is very high, it is almost holy. All I know is what I read in the Chicago Tribune, or preserve your independence, write boldly, and tell the truth fearlessly. Which of these quotes is widely attributed to Joseph Medill? 30 seconds left.
Actually, they're all are good quotes about journalism.
They are powerful and important.
That's right.
So it'll be interesting to see what he said that put his imprint on it.
And it's hard to understate the influence of Joseph Medill and journalism in the latter half of the 1800s.
Wow.
He was an icon figure.
And here's our last answer. Preserve your independence, write boldly, and tell the truth fearlessly.
In a May 1869 speech to editors and publishers in Indianapolis, Joseph Medill said, quote, "Preserve your independence, write boldly and tell the truth fearlessly. Criticize whatever is wrong and denounce whatever is rotten in the administration of your local and state affairs. Never willfully deceive the people or trifle with their confidence."
Absolutely. And this was so much fun. Let's see who our winner is. Sarah's number 3. 3rd place is Sarah. 2nd place is John Marshall. He came back to get 2nd. And 1st place is, drum roll, John Z.
John Siamek.
There we go.
Now, who is Sarah? Who is number 3, Sarah? We got is that, I assume that's not Sarah Brazil.
Would love to know. So you know John Z, you know the winner.
Well, John Siamek is a former faculty member.
Okay.
And signed most of his notes John Z. So that's how he was known, John Z.
Well, very fitting for a former faculty member to take that. 2nd place is a faculty member, and 3rd place is Sarah, who we will find out who that is. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed it, and we learned so much about Medill. Congratulations to our top 3 winners. Medill will email you to get your prize, so make sure you follow up about that. Roger, thank you for sharing your knowledge of Medill and its history with us tonight. You are amazing.
Well, Karen, it's been great working with you. And one of these days, I want you to let me know what it takes to get onto the Bachelorette, because I may be auditioning for the next season's show.
Well, number 1, you're a great guy, so you're automatically perfect for it.
Well, I'll come to you for a letter of recommendation.
That sounds good to me.
Okay. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. It's now my pleasure to introduce Madill alumna Carrie McElwain to conclude our evening. Carrie.
Thank you so much. That was really amazing. Hi, I'm Carrie McElwain. I graduated from Madill a long, long time ago, and majored in integrated marketing before we really had a program. I worked with Don Schultz, and we kind of put one together. And like George Gallup, which I didn't know, I went from Madill to Young Rubicam, New York, where I worked for about 10 years and then came to Chicago to be president and CEO of the Chicago/Midwest office, and then today I'm Chief Marketing and Communications Officer at Lurie Children's. So I feel like I've gone full circle. I learned a lot about marketing at Medill and advertising and consumer and customer insights. And now I'm really flexing those communication skills. I never realized how important the comms part of marketing and communications was until the pandemic, and we were having like daily town halls. So that's been a fantastic journey. I want to just thank everyone for playing our game today and congratulate the winners and remind you all that you can get this fabulous merchandise. Look, they got the advertising person to do the pitch here. You can get this fabulous merchandise on the website at it is Medill100.org, and that's where you can find out about what's going on. And then you can also get linked to the merch, and there's good merch, and it ships internationally for all of you joining us from around the globe. So with that, I just want to say thank you to everyone for sharing this fun with us tonight, and happy birthday, Medill. Let's use that Medill trivia everywhere we go. Now we know fun stuff, and we can take that with us in our daily life, just like we take our Medill pride with us. So thank you, everyone, and all the best.
Harry, thank you so much. Thank you from everyone across the country and across the world for coming out here tonight, being a part of Medill's Centennial celebration, its birthday. It was great to see everyone and all your videos, and we had so much fun tonight. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you, Roger. You are a legend at Medill and amazing, so thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, Garen. It was a great evening, and it was a lot of fun. And it's so good to see everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks to Professor Whitaker, to Stacy and the team behind all of this. This is amazing. This is one of many events to celebrate Medill's 100-year anniversary. All right, everyone, have a great night. Thank you for being a part of this, and we'll see you soon.